you want to be when you grow up?
A skin doctor. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a paleontologist.
What's that?
A paleontologist. A clinic, like for pets.
Oh, like a veterinarian?
Mm-hmm.
You guys know what you want to be when you grow up?
No.
I want to be a professional soccer player when I grow up.
I want to be a chemical scientist.
I want to be a software engineer because I always see my dad at home working on like the computer and stuff, and he was playing a game, and me and my brother tried it out, and we really liked it.
I want to be a superhero.
Why?
Because I have superpowers. I have super speed. And I have Black Panther sense. I used to want to be a police officer, but since all this protesting and they're not being as nice to the black people, they've been hurting black people. And it needs to stop so the black people are more safe, and they want what equal for black people, just like women's wanted equal for boys.
This is Chicago, where I now call home. Its population is 2.7 million, and it's known for its history, food, jazz, and unfortunately, its shootings. And I have 2 black boys, and I don't want them or other black or brown boys or girls to be a statistic, not here or anywhere in the United States. So I decided to conduct some research on the future of our black children, starting here in Chicago. But to know one's future, you must know your past.
Sankofa ewo akankasem anasi twi kasem ekire se wo san ko wachi wo akofa bibia waja ato ho ede aba enedei wabrabo na aboawo ama wanya empuntuo ene enkoso ye wo kasa bi se wo refi na wo san kofa enchi. It means it's not a taboo when you forget something and you go back for it.
I was brought up in a home where my father really enjoyed talking about Black history. I went to a high school where the principal taught us about Black history, things we didn't know, and my dad told us about it from a personal viewpoint as far as his father was born a slave in 1848, June the 10th, and his father's mother, his grandmother, on his paternal grandmother, came from Africa, and my sister Kate had gone to Africa to find out where the ship that brought her to America came from, and she went to the Washington, D.C. archives and looked up, and I think she found the ship that she supposedly had come on, and they changed her name to Sally, and we talked about it in our home. We were brought up talking about how Dad would tell us about we came from kings and queens, and that we were very important people, and how some of us became slaves, my ancestors, was that the tribes would fight with each other, and they would, capture the queens, and they would bring them over as slaves. So a lot of information I got from my dad, and I tried to tell my kids about it, but they didn't seem to be interested in it, but I really loved it. And I've always thought about how I came to be in America and how it's important that my kids know that their great-grandfather was a slave, and I am the granddaughter of a slave.
I recognize Martin Luther King Jr. and he's number 1.
Number 1 is Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah. Did you know
Dr. King lived in Chicago in 1966 to lead the Chicago Freedom Movement, protesting against segregation.
During that time, when you were a teacher, was Black history part of the curriculum?
It wasn't really a part of the history, but I taught it in my classroom. From the time I started in 1962, each year I would have my children work on Black history programs. We would, when I went into the library, all of my children were given a, I guess you would call it assignment, to do Black history scrapbooks.